Just a quick update. Everything that we have ever done in here that was recorded is now on YouTube. Sometimes I run about a day or two behind, but we are perfectly up to date right now. So if there is anything that you have ever wanted to go back and watch again, please do so. If you are not a subscriber to the YouTube channel, please do so. And you can get notifications anytime we put something else up there. Just a little reminder on our schedule today. We have Merle Land speaking with us to do the Top Producer of Success series interview. That's going to be today at 12 o'clock from no, Greta, that's for the productivity coaching only YouTube page.
That's in that email?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. You're like, one more YouTube channel? It's all good. One step at a time, one step at a time. Okay, so Merle Land is going to be hanging out with us today from 12 to 1. Merle's been in the business for over 40 years. She is just smart as a whip, and she has seen this this industry evolve over time. I think she's going to offer a really cool perspective on how to be successful in all different types of markets. She was also one of the pioneers, which I'm gonna learn a little bit more about. I'm not even sure I know the full story. Today, she was in the room. She was in the room at the very beginning when they were bringing Keller Williams to Atlanta. She was one of the first like 25 or so people that were a part of that initiative. So she's going to share some information about what attracted her to Keller Williams and what has kept her at Keller Williams. So we'll probably touch on profit share a bit today. And then from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, we will do the launch mastermind. And again, the topic for the launch mastermind today is going to be contracts. The contracts that I want to speak about today, unless somebody has an overwhelming urge to talk about something different, is the listing agreement and then putting together an offer, right? What contracts are part of that, and then some tips and strategies on kind of getting that all organized, okay? Talk to me about Bold. What are you guys learning in Bold? What did you hear yesterday that you just cannot stop from wanting to share with the group? John, you got some notes?
It was great. I was really impressed by the two moderators, Jake and Brian. I was really impressed by Emily Peckham's story. 2 years out, she's 2 years out of college, and she's on a pace to 105 closes. Mostly with FSBO. She has an incredible conversion rate and how she does it. It was great, the role play between her and Jake about how she does it, just smooth and calm, and I was really impressed by that.
Yeah. Any strategy that are you able to kind of condense that into a little explanation of what she's doing?
I'm sorry?
Could you tell us a little bit more about what her style is, what her system is?
Well, first of all, persistence. She says basically, I think she said between 10 and 12 calls lead to. So it's certainly persistence, but just about a very calm approach. Not make not a very hard sell. Just about explaining how she can help. And yeah, I don't know. I just found. I don't know. I just found it really. I went back and looked at it a couple more times, and I really liked your style a lot.
Love that. So I will make a recommendation, and I'm pretty sure they've talked about this in Bold, or you'll hear it eventually. Is don't just kind of hear the scripts that they're saying. If you say, hey, I like that one, get it in writing, print it out, and then say it to yourself. Right. I distinctly remember this. This happened so many times. There's a gentleman named Tim Hardiman. He was at KW Roswell, then he moved to Midtown, and then he just started his own brokerage. I think he just turned 30. He's selling over 100 homes a year. I mean, super stud. So I helped him a little bit at the very, very beginning of his career. And I remember I was getting into the office pretty early, but every time I got into the office, every time he'd be in the back training room with the lights out, doing castings, saying his scripts out loud, right? Like this, right? I see your home just came off the market. When are you planning to hire the right agent to sell your home? I mean, every morning, every morning by himself, first person in the office, vocalizing these scripts, right? You know, what you do today will dictate the type of organization you have later. Make sense? Okay. Anyone else want to share anything else that they've learned from Bold?
Bill, I'm in agreement with John. I thought Emily conversion and how she's doing it just by sticking to the script itself was like the highlight of the call on yesterday as well. It didn't even seem like, to me, like the main thing is just being consistent. It wasn't like it was something that was, oh, well, you know, you got to go and make this up or that. She's like, no, I just stick to the script, stick to the program and keep doing it consistently. That was it. But it's good when it sounds so natural after you keep doing the same thing over and over. And then when people hear it, like, it's amazing, but she's like, I just stick to the script.
Right. It's like they say, well, what do you do that's special? What do you say that's special? I say, I just read it. What are you talking about? I was just reading this.
All right.
Right. All right. Anyone else?
For me, Bill, it was focusing on what you can control and, you know, not what you can't control. And they said that what would your life look like if you did the 5 core activities the majority of your business days? Lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, practice and role play. So I thought that kind of resonated with me, just kind of focusing on what you can control and really focusing on those areas.
Right. I see it a lot of, you know, I share calendars with Aubrey and Robin. I've seen, you know, hundreds of real estate agents' calendars over the years. And what I see really oftentimes in somebody's calendar that's a top performer is they'll have a slot for appointment and it'll say appointment or more lead gen, right? This is where I meet with people, or this is when I have to return to the phones because I don't have anyone to meet with right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he actually said that yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah, but if you have your slots for appointments, and if you don't have an appointment, then you work on lead gen to make sure you do get those appointments.
Right. So let's repeat those 5 tasks real fast. Lead generation, lead follow-up, negotiating contracts, going on appointments, and script practice and role play. So if you don't have an active client or you don't have an active contract that you're, negotiating, and you're not prepping for an appointment that you've got in the next couple of days, and you've already expired or you've already kind of finished your follow-up, so to say, because no one really wants to do anything today, you've already checked, then that's not a reason to go distract yourself that's not a reason to go focus on some other activity that's not in the core 5. That's to go back to the most important, is to go find more leads. Not to say, well, I guess I'll work on my website today. Well, you ain't got no one to show your website with. Go get somebody to share it with. All right. Anyone else dying to share something? All right. Let's do a little bit of, actually, I want to introduce one idea that I was speaking with one of our agents on yesterday. And one of the things that we were talking about was this person had what we both agreed was a relatively thin pipeline, right? And just for those that are relatively new to the group, let's summarize what that is. Okay. The database is comprised of all the people that you have some form of relationship with. Some of them might be very strong, some of them might be a little bit weaker. Some you might talk to every week, some you might not have talked to in a long time. Okay, these are all people ideally that are Mets, or they're people that in a neighborhood that you're farming or something, and they're probably tagged not met, or what Keller Williams would call leads, as opposed to, I'm sorry, contacts as opposed to leads. Okay, and you would communicate with those people differently. Let's say somebody that lived in a farm where they've never responded to any of your mailings, yet you still want to continue to send your message to them. Okay. That's called the database. I've also encouraged everyone to build out what's called a pipeline. Okay. That's the very first thing on the fourth quarter GPS. So let's touch on that for 1 second today. Okay. The pipeline is comprised of people that we would expect to do business with in the next 12 months. Okay. In the next 12 months. So what I suggested doing is to create a visual pipeline. Now, I know you can do this on command in opportunities, and it's really flashy and everything is beautiful about it. However, if you don't log into command or you choose to purposefully not look at that, then it's not going to be helpful at all. Okay. And we know that oftentimes when we're behind in our goals, we don't want that. We don't want a reminder of that. Okay. I'm pushing you to remind yourself. Okay. So many of us have vision boards or, pictures of our family up and these kind of things. It's there because we want to be reminded of it. Right. So I'm asking you guys to create a visual pipeline that has the names of the people that you anticipate closing with in the next 12 months. Okay. My next suggestion, I want to give you, keep it super simple. This is not where the data goes. That's in the database. This is just the names so you can have a realization of how many people am I currently flirting with. Okay. So my recommendation was to figure out how many homes that you want to sell in the next 12 months. Let's just say, for example, the answer to that is 12. Okay. My recommendation is you multiply that by 3, and that's how big your pipeline should be. And we started talking about this back in July or August to say you need 3 times the number of people in your that you want to have closed in your pipeline by the end of the year. Okay, 3 times. And the only other thing outside of their name and probably their number, just to make it easy, is a rank. So if you anticipate getting them closed in the next 60 days, call them a 10. 60 to 90 or 60 to 120 days, let's say, they're a 9. 120 days to 180 days, they're an 8. 120 days or 180 days to the end of the year, let's call them a 7. And all the time you're staring at that list saying, okay, should that person move up? Okay, that one, everything just got moved back 6 weeks. Ooh, everything got moved up 6 months, whatever. You're moving those things around and you're constantly adding people, probably hopefully not a whole lot of taking people off it, but you're constantly adding people to the pipeline so that you know who your core, who are you likely to get a sale from in the next little while, right? So if I were to say, John, can I pick on you for a second?
Of course.
Okay, so let's say, and you don't have to answer these questions out loud. I'm just using you as an example, okay? If I were to say, John, show me your pipeline. Show me a list of the people that you would anticipate closing in the next 12 months. And you put that together and let's say it's got 7 people on it.
Mm-hmm.
But your financial goals require you to close, let's say 15 units next year. What is our realization? You better grow your pipeline.
You need to get more in the pipeline.
Right. And if that's our goal, then all the other stuff I'm asking you to track, from contacts to practicing to database ads to appointments and all that, that will take care of itself en route to you getting more people in the pipeline.
Exactly.
So that it's not a coincidence that I put that as the very first thing on this page. Okay, we need to have super clarity on, how are things going? Is what we're doing working? Because if it is working, it should spit out people that are ready to do business with us in a predictable amount of time. Y'all hear that? What we suggested yesterday, and this person's got some pretty big goals, so his numbers were pretty big, is we said every day, our goal was to add 3 people to the database and 1 person to the pipeline every day. That's really aggressive, right? Could you do 1 person to the pipeline every other day? Could you do 1 person to the pipeline every week, right? If we're heading up against the end of the year, particularly when most agents are taking some time off, are you willing to push down the gas a little bit so that you can take market share and go into the holidays knowing that you're going to crush next year? Does that make sense? Who has some thoughts or questions on that? Okay, Thank you, Greta, for your question. As a matter of fact, I have a nice little drawing right here, already colorful and printed to explain the difference, okay? This is a document called, by the way, there is a file within the Google Drive, the Productivity Coaching Google Drive, that is called Maps Models, okay? Maps Models is a course that KW put together. And what they did is they took basically every model that they've been teaching over the years and as it's been evolving and put it into one curriculum. And it's like a 2-day class and you learn about every model. They show you the model, they explain it. Show you the model, explain it. So this is one of the models. This is the touch program model. So all those are graphs. Everything I'm showing you is in Google Drive right now. A lead is somebody that you have basically sent an offer to. It's for lack of a better way to put it, it's only been a one-way communication so far. Okay, so you've sent something to them, or you've checked back in with them after they visited an open house or something like that, and it hasn't gone 2 ways yet, right? That is a lead. What KW calls a contact is as soon as it goes 2 ways. Okay, so you're connecting with the leads, you're sending, it's an offer-based communication strategy, and as soon as they accept that and want to have a 2-way dialogue, now they are a contact. Okay, and you're cultivating the contacts, you're basically connecting the leads to become a contact, then you're cementing the contacts into like a cultivation funnel, if you will, where it's a needs-based and interactive relationship. Okay. They say that there is a communication system for leads. Leads are people you have the right to at least have a one-way conversation with. Okay. Now, they say that's called a 19 to connect to leads database. 4 quarterly calls, 12 touches monthly by a monthly newsletter or something, 2 promotional touches like a magnet or a calendar or market update or something like that per year, and 1 touch to a like a client event per year. Okay, these are people that basically the relationship is much weaker, right? It's only one way. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Absolutely.
All right, beautiful. Let's do some role play. What role play would you guys like to do today? Oh my gosh. Ebony, you don't have to do it. Just tell me what you want to talk. What do you want to hear today?
Okay, I've been working on pre-qualifying scripts
Great. For sellers or for buyers?
for sellers.
Okay, great. Would you like to do it, or would you like to pick somebody to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay, cool. Do you have your scripts in front of you?
I do.
Okay. Why don't you be the agent and I'll be the seller?
Okay, cool. Hold on, let me move.
Okay. By the way, I don't know if this is the script that Ebony has in front of her. It really doesn't make a difference.
That is the script that I have in front of me.
Pre-qualifying script. This is also in the Google Drive, and it's also in the email that I sent out a couple of days ago. Okay. This is, now let's talk real briefly about when do we pre-qualify, okay? We pre-qualify prior to going on the appointment, okay? Because we want to know who we're about to meet, right? We want to know, are we going to be able to identify something that they are going to want to talk about, and we don't want to be blindsided by it, right? So for example, they may talk about commission and stuff. Okay, well, we need to polish up our discussions around handling that objection. Or you might hear that, they're super motivated and they're not super motivated, or, they may tell you that there's all kinds of, family members involved. I mean, it could get really ugly really fast, right? The question you should be asking is this in fact an opportunity? So the questions that Ebony's going to ask me are basically designed to determine how good of an opportunity is this, and am I dealing with somebody that is reasonable? Okay. Ebony, would you like me to be reasonable today?
Yes, be nice to me.
Okay. Well, all right. You're up.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, this is Ebony with Keller Williams Realty. Is this Bill?
Yes. How are you?
Hi, Bill. I'm doing good. I'm calling today to confirm to confirm our appointment on Friday at 3 p.m. I wanted to know, was the house still available, and does that time slot still work for you?
Yeah. That still works. Let's assume I'm a FISBO or something.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right. Well, you said is the home still available? That would imply that it's already listed or a FISBO or something.
Exactly.
Okay. Yes. So let me set the stage. I'm sorry, I should have done that. I'm a FISBO. I finally cracked. I need help. Ebony has been super consistent and diligent about checking in with me and making sure offering her assistance over time. And I'm finally ready to hire her. We booked an appointment, and she's calling to confirm the appointment and do some pre-qualification questions. Yes, Ebony, Thursday at 3 still works for me. That's great.
Perfect, Bill. So I can be fully prepared for our meeting on Friday. Do you have a couple minutes so you can answer a couple questions?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. When we last spoke, you said you wanted to sell your house and you were moving to New York to be closer to your family. Is that still the case?
That is, yes.
Okay. How soon, Bill, how soon do you have to be there?
I need to be there in about really by the end of the year, ideally.
Okay. So if I sell your house in the next 30 days, would that pose a problem for you?
Oh, that would be actually really nice. Do you think you could do that?
I am sure that I can do that. I have no doubt in myself.
I knew I was about to hire the right person.
Look, it was a reason that I called you. Like
Right.
that was. Have you looked online and checked any prices of other similar homes in your area?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, Bill, as a professional real estate agent here in Roswell, I have access to the most accurate recent sales information. Obviously, we'll review the information when we meet so that you can make a decision when pricing your home. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, Bill, if you can tell me what are some positive features about your home? When you purchased this home, what were some of the things that stood out to you?
I really liked the floor plan. I thought it was a nice open floor plan.
Okay.
And I really love the backyard. The kids have really enjoyed the backyard.
Okay. And is there anything else? How do you feel about the location of the home? Do you like the flooring?
Yeah, we did do some renovations. We added some new custom hardwood floors, and we really like being in the cul-de-sac.
Okay, perfect. And Bill, is there anything negative about the property that could affect the sale?
Well, we do have some wallpaper upstairs still,
Okay.
and we also have a bit of a steep driveway. So I'm hoping
Okay.
that's not that big of a deal, but we do have a bit of a steep driveway.
Well, it's not like we get a lot of snow in Georgia, so I think it'll be fine.
Okay. All right.
When choosing an agent to represent you, what's most important to you? In other words, what are you looking for in the person you choose?
I'm just looking for somebody that's going to be honest with me,
Uh-huh.
and somebody who's going to share some market statistics with me. Maybe you could bring some of that when
Okay.
we meet. And I'm also looking for somebody who just has is really good at communication. I don't want to know I don't want to not know what's coming next.
Okay, perfect. And when you say communication, what does that look like to you? How many times do you want them to effectively communicate? Would you like them to call via phone? Would you like an email, a text message?
I'm thinking, like maybe at least once a week. Maybe
Okay.
a phone call once a week at least, just to make sure that uh, that both of us know kind of what's going on and we're able to work together.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm looking at, what I hear you saying is that you want somebody who's going to effectively communicate, all while knowing the market and to bring some statistics just to support the reason why we're pricing your home if you do decide to list with me at the price point that we're going to list it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I'll be sending over my seller listing packet. Will you take a, okay, let me start again.
Doing great. Doing awesome.
I've been se- I'll be sending over my seller listing packet. Will you take a few moments and review this information before we meet?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Okay. Bill, when we're together on Friday, if what I say makes sense to you, you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your house and put the most money in your pocket, are you prepared to get the process started so I can help you and your family get that much closer to New York by the end of the year?
Uh, yeah, I think so.
Okay, great. And do you have any more questions before I arrive?
No, no, I think we'll be able to cover everything together.
Okay. Bill, and the last question that I have is, are you the only decision maker? And if not, will all decision makers be there on Friday when we meet?
Yeah, my wife and I will both be there.
Perfect. So, Bill, what I'm going to do is on Thursday, I'm going to send a text message just reminding you that we are meeting at Friday at 3 p.m. And if you can just respond, just confirming that appointment, I'm carving out that time just for you. It'll take about 30 minutes. Do you have enough time, you and your wife, so we can sit for 30 minutes and talk?
Yeah, 30 minutes would be great.
Okay, perfect. Well, I look forward to seeing you on Friday, Bill, and you have a great day.
Wow, Ebony, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
That was awesome. I mean, I'll give you a couple of things that I noticed that could probably use a tiny bit of improvement, but it
Okay.
is incredibly obvious that you've spent time on this. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great work. Really,
Thank
really good. Um, there was some, you went, I don't want to say you went off script, but like the conversation may not go perfectly like this, right? And you were able to hop off and hop right back on really, really well. Okay. Probably my biggest um, recommendation is getting a better grip around embedded commands. So everything that has the capital letters, right? Sell your home, feel comfortable, list with me, that stuff. You want to make sure that you almost had an upswing when you were talking. We want to make sure you have a downswing when you're talking, right? If
Okay.
if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable, right, and confident that I can sell your house and put the most money in your pocket, will you be planning to get started with me? Right? It's just a slight pause right before the command and a slight pause right after the command. And you say the command like a statement, like a comment or like a command, really, rather than a sell your house.
Okay.
Right?
I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It takes some practice, but wow, that was really, really good. Did anyone else notice it? I mean, look, first of all, I know I don't really like picking people out of the sky, but somebody's got to volunteer, right? So just speak up fast next time. One of the very first things that they teach you in teaching is don't call people out of the audience when they're not expecting it, right? So don't make me break the first rule of presenting. Okay. So I know John and Ebony weren't necessarily prepared for this. However, it was proof that Ebony has this stuff right next to her desk. Did y'all see her run around and go grab it real fast? No, it's right there. She's ready for a phone call to change instantly to ooh, we might have an appointment here. I got some questions for you. They're right here. You see what I'm saying? She didn't have to say, well, hang on, let me open up my Google Drive. Hold on one second. I'm gonna have some questions for you, but I need 3 minutes. I'm not prepared. Right? She didn't have to do that. Okay. So I want to recognize the fact that thank you for being willing to share and recognizing the fact that you guys are ready for it. So thank you for that. And we're a group here all trying to refine our skills and improve our skills. And so I'm hopeful that we're willing to be vulnerable in front of one another and we're willing to give constructive criticism or feedback to one another, not because we're trying to be jerks to each other, but because we really want Ebony to go secure some business. And we really want John and Mike and Twantis and everyone to go and secure some business. And when we have this group together, giving feedback to one another, it's going to help everybody. Make sense? Okay, with that said, did anyone hear anything particularly awesome or had a question about any of Ebony's script? Any of that?
It was just a nice flow to it. There wasn't any stuttering, stammering. It was just a really nice flow to it. It really seemed, I mean, it didn't seem like she was reading it at all. It seemed like a conversation. And it was just a nice back and forth, to me at least.
Yep.
That's what I was gonna say. I just couldn't figure out how to take my computer off of mute. Is that she didn't talk too fast, which is something I struggle with. I get to talking and I start speed talking.
Me too.
So like, but I could tell that's just naturally how your voice, it was smooth, it was toning. I could hear what you were saying. And I just think that makes a big difference, because if people can't understand you or they think you're mumbling or whatever, they don't want to be on the phone. But you just naturally have a very soothing tone that you do want to stay on the phone and listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the quotes that I took from Bold yesterday, it said it's not what you could have said, it's what you could have asked. And Ebony asked all the right, I mean, she asked all the right questions. I don't think she left that conversation thinking, oh, I should have asked this. She asked all the questions she needed to.
Right. And well, remember, you're going to ultimately almost repeat a lot of these questions during the listing presentation, right? Because what she did that with me only, yet she's going to be meeting with my wife and me, right? And so she's going to want to recap that conversation and make sure that there wasn't anything that was left out. Plus, there'll be plenty of time to, ask questions during the listing presentation. She's just trying to get an idea, right? So, for example, if I had said yes, I have looked at pricing, right? And I want to list my home for 400, and Ebony's already done some preliminary research and she knows that it should sell more for like 300, right? Then were you surprised by what you saw, or were the list prices what you expected, right? And I might say, yeah, I was a bit surprised by what I saw. I was thinking my home's worth 400. I keep seeing things for around 300. Now that's not an opportunity for Ebony to say, well, I'm not listing your home unless it's for 325, blah, blah. It's like, great, right? We'll go into some of those details when I'll bring some of the comparables and we'll kind of look at each one by one, right? This is not, do not get into an argument with them.
Right.
Okay, get in front of them and be nice and smile and present to them. Okay, and 70% of the time you will get the business.
So Bill, so if you came up with 400, you would say something like, well, so how did you come up with that? What were you, so
I might go right down to this.
What did you use to,
as a real estate professional in this area, I have access to the most accurate and recent sales information. Obviously, we'll review that information when we meet so we can make the best decision. I'd probably go right into the next question, right? And anytime they're like, well, my other question that I have is, what's your commission? Say, I'm glad you asked that. I understand that that's an important topic. We'll go over that together when we meet, right? No, but I'm not going to meet unless you tell me what it is. Well, my commission, all commissions are negotiable, right? However, I typically charge 6%, and it includes a lot of things that other agents may or may not be doing. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with you when we meet, right? Something of that nature where you don't want them to compare apples to apples, right? That's like one thing that the mortgage industry is not particularly good at is that rate has basically become the litmus test, right? And so like if you go into a mortgage, if you go into a bank now and you say, give me the prevailing rate, they'll give you the prevailing closing cost. Let's just say, for example, it's 3%. If instead you want a 2.5% rate for some reason, the closing costs are going to be more, right? Or if you want to close, if you want a rate of, 1.5, we can get you a rate of 1.5, but you're going to pay 30 grand in closing cost, right? So they might get you in the door based on the low marketing of the low rate, but that's why you can't just compare rates. You have to compare rates and closing cost, right? That's like comparing caps at a real estate company. We're 70-30, we have an $18,000 cap. Okay, company XYZ is 80-20, yet they have no cap. So don't just tell me they're a better deal, because if you're making good money, they're a lot worse deal. Does that make sense?
And I've actually said once, I said once you see how I can market your home, once you see all the resources that I have in my arsenal to work for you, you'll find that that's very reasonable, and I would love the opportunity to share that with you.
Yeah.
Kind of
Right.
thing.
And we can also talk a little bit about how the statistics that I bring to the table outperform the local market by 4%. I'm excited to share that with you. And they're like, whoa, really? Tell me more about that, right? If you don't have the personal listing stats, use the one at the market center, right? Does everyone know those, by the way?
I don't
No.
actually. If you can just point me, because as a
Yeah.
new agent, I'm finding I'm going to be needing to lean on
Yeah,
the
exactly.
strength of the office.
I posted those probably a couple weeks ago, but obviously some of you are new since then. It's not I don't have that document in the Google Drive. It's just a document that Lee shares with us. Let me look for it. It'll take me just a couple minutes and I'll send it this morning to everyone. Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, you guys. Thank you for all your hard work. We have very few people that have posted their numbers, and my coach was like, where are all the numbers? Where are all the numbers? So please don't make me have those awkward conversations. Just post your numbers for the 3rd week in October. Catch up if you're behind. If the number is 0, just put 0. Okay, it's not going to get better by you not putting the number there. It's going to get better by you putting the number there, acknowledging it is what it is, coming to more sessions like this, coaching privately with me, and taking the steps needed to take to make the number not 0. Does that make sense?
Can I ask you something?
Please.
So sometimes when posting numbers, when I want to post my numbers for the next day, like I'm not a whiz when it comes to Excel.
Yeah.
My name is closer to the bottom, so then at the top, I can't see where it says command hours, and sometimes it'll take a day or 2 before, if I scroll down, I see. So it'll make it a little bit. I'll wait to put the numbers because being lazy, I don't feel like going back and forth. So that's why sometimes I put it in late and it throws it off.
So that is because it may be a cell where I did not freeze the top.
Freeze the pane.
And I typically do that. I'll go back and make sure that that's done on all the cells. I apologize for that. If so, just send me a message. Bill, do your job.
Okay.
You hold me accountable. If I didn't freeze the cell, call me out. Okay?
Okay.
Bill, come on, do your job. Freeze the cell. Let's go. Tawantis, what were you saying?
I said thank you. I'm glad she brought that up.
All right, we're all a team. You guys can look on monthly comparison and see what I'm up to. Okay, I've shown you guys that before. If you know right now, I'm a good bit ahead of my goal for internal appointments, and I'm a bit behind on my goal for external appointments. Call me out, okay? It's accountability. I'm a member of the team also. Okay.
Hey, Bill, before COVID, were these trainings, were they in person or were they still on Zoom?
Before COVID, they were in person. The truth is that I basically started this position in the middle of February and essentially spent a week or 2 kind of creating it, if you will, right? Trying to figure out how it's all going to work. And we had about a week or so of, it was actually a little bit more than that. Well, a little less than that, I should say. I think our first productivity coaching announcement, if you will, was like the 6th or the 7th or so of March. And so we had about a week of this in person before we went digital. So, at some point, hopefully soon, we can get back and do some of this stuff in person. In a perfect world, I'll be completely honest, this is kind of my vision for this group, is I'm in that back corner near the training room. It's right next to that little open space with the TV. It's got a couple couches there. It's got a table there. I mean, my vision is like, you guys can come in and use that space, and I'm right here, and we're all generating leads together. We're coming in, hey Bill, can I run this by you? Hey, can I show you this presentation? I mean, it's much more workshop. That's what my goal is.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would. Yeah.
All right, y'all, be safe. I'll see you at 12.
Hey,
Thank you.
Ebony, great job today, Ebony.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for the support. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Excellent.
Good
Excellent.
job.
Hey,
Y'all have a
everybody.
good day.
Bye.